first point we're going to cover, and the first point in the life of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, is avoid jealousy. Jealousy divides communities, breaks up families, and splits up friendships. In Surah Yusuf, verse 5, Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا إن الشيطان للإنسان عدو مبين. O my son, do not relate your vision to your brothers, or they will contrive against you a plan. Indeed, Satan to man is a manifest enemy. They were brothers by blood, but Yusuf's brothers alayhi salam would not have been pleased by his vision of prophethood. Even those close to you, friends and family, might not be thrilled about blessings you have received or steps you have taken to live a life that is pleasing to Allah. It is best to keep your dreams quiet and only share them with trustworthy supporters until these aspirations are a flourishing reality. Yusuf's brothers alayhi salam believed Yaqub alayhi salam loved Yusuf more than them. Their jealousy boiled up out of control. And these brothers, they became an irrational game. And they plotted to get rid of Yusuf alayhi salam by abandoning him in the well. One lie was woven into a web of lies, and the brothers informed their father that Yusuf alayhi salam had been devoured by a wolf. And jealousy even touched the prophets. So we need to be sure to stamp out jealousy in our communities. As Muslims, we should be sincerely happy when we see others being blessed by Allah. When we see people excelling in religion or gaining success, we should say, MashaAllah or Tabarakallah. For the second point, remember what is in store for you and seek strength in Allah. Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam had already suffered a series of tests and trials, yet he remained obedient to Allah. His brothers had abandoned him in the well. Then he was found and sold as a slave at the market. Despite being a loyal servant to the king, Yusuf alayhi salam was defamed and imprisoned. At the zenith of this crisis, when everything seemed bleak, the wife of the king threatened to imprison Yusuf alayhi salam unless he would give in to her attempts at seduction. Yusuf alayhi salam's response was recorded in the Quran. Verse 33, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قال رب السجن أحب إلي مما يدعونني إليه وإلا تصرف عني كيدهن أصب إليهن وأكون من الجاهلين. My Lord, prison is more to my liking than that to which they invite me. And if you do not avert me from my plan, I might incline toward them and thus be of the ignorant. Yusuf alayhi salam chose to live in the dark, dreary dungeon and a life of shackles over disobedience to Allah. Clearly, even if you encounter dismal surroundings and misery, Allah's pleasure is greater and longer lasting. You will triumph if you obey Allah. The third point is never give up hope in Allah. Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam never gave up the hope of finding his son. When Yusuf alayhi salam's brothers came back to tell him that their brother was stolen and remained behind, Yaqub alayhi salam was still sad about his loss of Yusuf alayhi salam. He went blind over suppression of his grief and complained only to Allah. Despite the intense grief he felt and the previous reports of Yusuf alayhi salam being consumed by a wolf, Yaqub alayhi salam did not give up hope. He instructed his sons to continue to search for Yusuf alayhi salam and his brother, saying, Surah Yusuf, verse 87, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا بني أذهبوا فتحسسوا من يوسف وأخيه ولا تيسوا من روح الله إنه لا ييس من روح الله إلا القوم الكافرون. O my sons, go and find out about Joseph and his brother, and despair not of relief from Allah. Indeed, no one despairs of relief from Allah except the disbelieving people. Imagine Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam had not seen his son since childhood. So many years had passed that Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam was now a king of Egypt. Despite the passing of all these years, Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam still firmly held on to the hope that Allah would answer his prayers and reunite him with his son. Many of us have trouble being patient for a few hours or a couple of days, let alone years or decades. Alhamdulillah, Yaqub alayhi salam never gave up, and Allah answered his dua, relieving him of the sorrow he felt. Fourthly, from the life of Yusuf alayhi salam, patience is beautiful, so be patient all the time. We should always be patient. If we have patience in hardship, continuously counting our blessings, we will truly be victorious in both hardship and ease. Can you count how many times Yusuf alayhi salam was patient? He was patient while waiting the fulfillment of his dream. He was patient when his brothers abandoned him in the well. He was patient when he was sold as a slave. He was patient when the king's wife accused him of seduction. And Yusuf alayhi salam continued to be patient when he was put in jail. Even when his fellow inmate was released and forgot about him, Yusuf alayhi salam continued to be patient. As the king of Egypt, Yusuf alayhi salam was also patient with his brother's slander. He kept his cool when they tried to say that his brother Binyamin was stealing, just as Yusuf had done the same before him. Regardless of the time, situation, place, or scenario, Yusuf alayhi salam remained patient. So be patient, inshallah. Fifth, forgive. When Yusuf alayhi salam finally confronts his brothers later in life, it is a beautiful lesson of forgiveness. After his brothers return with their father and Binyamin is accused of theft, they return to Yusuf alayhi salam in a great predicament. His brothers are enduring hard times in which they have poor harvest and are in need. On the other hand, Yusuf alayhi salam has not only become the king of Egypt, but he has astutely saved provisions and prepared his community to survive the famine. Although Yusuf alayhi salam had suffered many hardships on account of his brothers' jealous plotting, Yusuf alayhi salam is strong and holds the upper hand. Instead of treating them with harshness or rebuking them to endure starvation, Yusuf alayhi salam utters very lovely words. Verse 92, Surah Yusuf. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قال لا تثريب عليكم اليوم يغفر الله لكم وهو أرحم الراحمين. No blame will there be upon you today. Allah will forgive you, and He is the most merciful of the merciful. Instead of being bitter and angry or taking vengeance, Yusuf alayhi salam was strong enough to choose forgiveness. With all his power as a leader, Yusuf alayhi salam preferred the sweetness of forgiveness. So to reiterate, how to keep things going when things get hard, with lessons from the life of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Avoid jealousy. Remember what is in store for you and seek strength in Allah. Never give up hope in Allah. Patience is beautiful, so be patient all the time. Forgive. This brief reflection today only touches upon a few lessons of Surah Yusuf. Take a few minutes to reflect a bit more. Stop and read over this chapter of the Quran. Take a few moments to close your eyes and imagine implementing the lessons above. How can you bravely continue to be obedient to Allah? Is there a way you can support someone and help stamp out jealousy among friends or family? What steps would help you augment your hope that Allah will answer your prayers? In hard times, what reminders will prompt you to persevere in patience? Can you find it in your heart to forgive someone who has wronged you? What other lessons can you learn from Surah Yusuf? And let me conclude with a Quranic dua from Surah Yusuf, verse 101. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أنت ولي في الدنيا والآخرة توفني مسلما والحقني بالصالحين. You are my protector in this world and in the hereafter. Cause me to die as a Muslim and join me with the righteous.